I'm staring at a document titled Divorce Strategy Final, and my hands won't stop shaking. My husband wrote this. My husband of 26 years has been planning to destroy me for 8 months. And I accidentally found out 20 minutes ago because he left his laptop open. He's downstairs right now making coffee, humming to himself thinking I'm still asleep, thinking I have no idea. He's wrong. The document is still open on the screen in front of me. 14 pages of pure calculation. Timeline for filing. Strategy for freezing our accounts. A section on maximum psychological impact. And at the bottom, a note dated 2 days ago. Confession dinner scheduled for Saturday. Angela's guard is completely down. Saturday. That's tomorrow night. My name is Angela. I'm 48. And 20 minutes ago, I thought my biggest problem was that my marriage had gone cold. I was wrong about everything. Let me back up. 3 months ago, my husband Paul changed. Not in an obvious way, in a careful way. He stopped arguing with me. Just completely stopped. We'd been married 26 years, and for at least the last 5, we'd had the same fights every long-term marriage has. Money, his mother, my spending, who forgot to pick up the dry cleaning. Normal stuff that annoyed us, but didn't mean anything. Then in November, he became this eerily calm version of himself. I'd say something that usually set him off, and he'd just nod and say, "Okay, Angela," like a therapist. Like he was taking notes. It freaked me out. I told my book club friend Linda about it over brunch at our usual spot. She set down her mimosa and gave me this look. Girl, when they go quiet like that, they've got someone else making them happy. The words hit me like ice water. You think he's cheating? I'm saying that's what it sounds like. My ex did the same thing right before I found out about his secretary. I spent that whole week spiraling. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Started waking up at 3 a.m. with my heart pounding, staring at the ceiling while Paul slept peacefully next to me. You know that feeling, right? When your body knows something your brain hasn't figured out yet. When every cell is screaming that something's wrong, but you can't point to anything concrete. That was me for 3 straight months. I started noticing things. Small things. How Paul took his laptop to bed every night, now instead of leaving it in his office. How he'd changed all his passwords, claimed it was because of some data breach at work. How he stopped touching me entirely. Not even a hand on my shoulder when he passed me in the kitchen. So I did what any woman would do when her gut is screaming, and everyone else is telling her she's paranoid. I checked his phone one night while he was in the shower. I grabbed it off the nightstand. Hands shaking, feeling guilty and desperate and crazy all at once. Nothing. Not a single suspicious text. His emails were boring work stuff. Location history showed home, office, gym. Grocery store. The man was either the world's most careful cheater, or I was losing my mind. I put the phone back exactly where I found it and sat on the edge of the bed, feeling like the worst wife in the world for not trusting him. My sister Jamie called the next day. I told her everything. "You're going through perimenopause," she said, not unkindly. "It makes you emotional, paranoid sometimes. You should talk to your doctor." Even I started wondering if she was right. If I was creating problems that didn't exist. If my hormones were making me imagine distance where there was just normal marriage routine, but my body wouldn't stop screaming. Then last Tuesday happened. Paul left for work in a rush. Some emergency meeting his boss called at the last minute. He grabbed his briefcase, kissed me on the forehead, first time he'd touched me in weeks, and practically ran out the door. 10 minutes later, I walked into the kitchen to make more coffee. His laptop was sitting open on the counter. I stopped mid-step and just stared at it. Paul never, and I mean never, leaves his laptop open. The man closes it every single time he walks away, even just to go to the bathroom. It's this weird compulsive thing he's done for years. But there it was, screen on. No password prompt. I stood there for a full minute, having this internal war with myself. Just close it and walk away. You're being paranoid. Stop invading his privacy. But also, he's been so weird. Linda thinks he's cheating. Your gut won't shut up. Just look. I pulled up his recent files just to check. Just to prove to myself I was being crazy and there was nothing to worry about. That's when I saw the folder. Tax Documents 2024. We always do our taxes together in April. I clicked it without thinking, figuring I'd just grab the W-2 South early. Get a head start. The folder opened. No tax documents, just subfolders. Dozens of them. My heart started pounding before my brain even understood why. Bank records, Angela spending, text message, archives, security footage, credit card, statements, hotel receipts, Angela, hotel receipts. The room tilted. I grabbed the edge of the counter. My hands were completely numb as I clicked on hotel receipts, Angela. 6 receipts, all from the Marriott downtown. All from last fall, September and October during the 3 months. I'd been going to those Tuesday night marketing events with my friend. Diane had started a consulting firm and invited me to help with networking because I was bored with the kids grown. I'd been going every Tuesday evening for 12 weeks. Paul knew about it, encouraged it even, said it was good for me to get out of the house. I stared at the dates on the receipts. September 10th, September 17th, September 24th, October 1st, October 8th, October 15th. Every single Tuesday, I'd been gone. And beneath each receipt, Paul had typed notes. Clinical cold. 9/10 A. Arrived home 10:47 p.m. Said event ran late. Checked mileage 14 extra miles unaccounted for. 9/17 showered immediately upon arriving home. Unusual behavior. 9/24 a received text at 9:13 p.m. Smiled at phone, deleted message immediately. Checked phone records, number registered to Travis Keller, consultant at Diane's firm. Travis Keller, I knew Travis. Nice guy, maybe early 40s, helped run the networking events. We'd talk 3, maybe 4 times, always in groups, always professionally. And my husband thought I was sleeping with him. No, not thought. My husband had been documenting evidence to prove I was sleeping with him. I couldn't breathe. The kitchen was spinning. I clicked on the next folder with hands that didn't feel like mine anymore. Text message archives. Hundreds of screenshots. Messages between me and Diane about event logistics. Messages between me and Jamie about Paul being distant. Messages between me and Linda about whether I should be worried. All of it. Every private conversation I'd had for months. How is he even accessing my messages? The thought made my skin crawl. My phone was my phone, my private space. And he'd been reading everything like I was a suspect under investigation. I opened another folder, already knowing it would be worse. Security footage. Video files, dozens of them, all labeled with dates and times. I clicked one from last week, barely able to see the screen through the tears that had started without me noticing. The video showed me in our kitchen. On the phone with Jamie, the audio was crystal clear. I don't know, Jamie. He's just so cold lately. It's like living with a stranger. Jamie's voice came through, tinny but clear. Have you tried talking to him? Every time I try, he just says he's fine and walks away. I'm starting to think Linda's right, that maybe he's seeing someone else. I watched myself on screen, rubbing my temples, looking tired and lost. And Paul had been watching this, listening to me wonder what was wrong, watching me blame myself, documenting my confusion like evidence in a case file. I had to close my eyes, breathe. This wasn't real. This couldn't be real. But when I opened them, the video was still playing another file. This one from January. Me in the bedroom, talking to Linda on the phone. I made a mistake. I heard myself say I remembered that call. We'd had a fight about money. I'd gone over budget at Whole Foods buying organic everything, and Paul had been annoyed. One mistake, video me said. I don't know why he's being so cold about it. It's like he's keeping score of every tiny thing I do wrong. Linda's response crackled through. Girl, you can't live walking on eggshells. If he can't handle you being human, that's his problem. I just wish he'd talk to me instead of shutting down. I watched myself sigh and hang up. Paul had typed a note beneath the video. Angela admits to mistake and claims I'm overreacting. Classic deflection. Save for attorney. For attorney. The words swam in front of me. He wasn't just documenting, he was building a case. My legs gave out. I sat down hard on the kitchen floor, laptop still open on the counter above me. I don't know how long I sat there. 5 minutes, 20. Time had stopped meaning anything. Eventually, I pulled myself up. Hands shaking so badly I could barely hold the mouse. One more folder. Divorce strategy. Final. Doc. X. I clicked it. The document opened. 14 pages. First paragraph. Objective. Establish grounds for fault-based divorce, citing adultery. Secure favorable asset division 60/40ths minimum and deny spousal support. Timeline, file within 30 days of verbal confession or undeniable evidence acquisition. Strategy, freeze joint accounts immediately upon filing to force financial pressure and expedite settlement terms. I stopped breathing. There were sections on everything. Which attorney to hire? How to present the evidence. When to serve papers for maximum psychological impact. A timeline showing the optimal moment to file based on various scenarios, and at the bottom, a note dated 2 days ago. Plan execution phase nearly complete. Angela's guard is completely down, suspects nothing. Confession dinner scheduled for Saturday evening at Marcel's. Will present evidence of affair with Travis Keller. Expecting emotional reaction that will further demonstrate instability for court purposes. Critical, remain calm and controlled regardless of her response. Record entire conversation via phone in jacket pocket. Confession dinner. Tomorrow night. He was planning to ambush me. Accuse me of cheating. Record my reaction. Use my confusion and hurt as proof I was unstable. And I'd been walking around our house like an idiot for 3 months, wondering why my marriage felt off. Letting people tell me I was being paranoid, blaming my hormones, questioning my own sanity. I closed the laptop carefully, exactly as he'd left it. Walked upstairs on legs that didn't feel steady. Locked our bedroom door and called the one person who could tell me if I was losing my mind. Diane answered on the second. Ring? Angela, everything okay? It's early. I need to know something. My voice sounded weirdly calm. Shock does that sometimes. Be completely honest. Has Travis ever mentioned me? Ever acted like he was interested in me? Silence, Angela. Where is this coming from? Just answer, please. Oh, God, no. Travis is happily married with 3 kids. We joke about how he and his wife are disgustingly in love. Why would you even? Paul thinks I'm having an affair with him. Diane's voice went sharp. That's completely insane. You've talked to Travis maybe 4 times, always in groups. No, but Paul's been documenting evidence. He has hotel receipts from the Marriott for every Tuesday I was at your events. He thinks I was meeting Travis the Marriott. Diane sounded genuinely confused. Angela, our events were at the Hilton Conference Center on the other side of town. Why would Paul have Marriott receipts? And just like that, everything clicked into place. Diane, I have to go. I hung up before she could respond, grabbed my laptop with shaking hands, and pulled up our joint credit card statements. The ones I hadn't looked at in months because Paul always handled the finances. I searched for Marriott. There they were. 6 charges. Same dates as the receipts in Paul's folder. September 10th, 17. Arshasev, October 1st, 8:15. Every single Tuesday. But the charges weren't on my card. They were on Paul's. Paul had been going to the Marriott every Tuesday while I was at Diane's events across town. Paul had been the one having an affair. And he'd been building a fake case against me too. Cover it up. I sat there on the bedroom floor for I don't know how long, staring at the credit card charges. My brain trying to catch up with what my gut had been screaming for 3 months. Then I started searching. Really searching. Our bank account showed ATM withdrawals every Tuesday for 6 months. $200 each time. always from the machine near Paul's office. Downtown Dada's phone records, which I could access through. Our family plan account showed hundreds of texts to a number I didn't recognize. I reverse searched. The number on one of those people finder sites, Jennifer Martinez, 34 years old. I found her Instagram in 30 seconds. Private account, but her profile picture was public. Pretty, long, dark hair. Big smile. Her bio said senior analyst with a company logo. I recognized Paul's company. I scrolled through her public photos. Most were private. But there was one from a work event 8 months ago. She was standing next to Paul. His hand was on her lower back. The photo was dated March 8 months ago, right when Paul started acting different. I zoomed in on their faces. She was looking at him like I used to look at him 20 years ago, and he was smiling. Really smiling. The way he hadn't smiled at me in years. My phone buzzed. A text from Diane. Are you okay? I'm worried. Call me back. I couldn't respond. Couldn't make words form. Because I was finally understanding. Paul had started an affair 8 months ago. Felt guilty. Started pulling away from me. And when that guilt became too much, when he realized I was noticing something was wrong, he'd created this entire conspiracy theory about me cheating. Not to catch me to justify what he was already doing, he'd manufactured evidence, twisted innocent conversations into suspicious behavior, attributed his own hotel visits to me, built an entire case based on lies, and he'd been planning to ambush me tomorrow night, record my confused reaction to his false accusations, and use it to destroy me in divorce court. My hands started shaking again. But this time, it wasn't fear. It was rage. Pure cold. Clarifying rage, I grabbed my phone and searched for divorce attorneys in our area. Found one with perfect reviews. Patricia Crane, former prosecutor, current specialist in high-conflict divorce cases. I called her office. It was barely 9 a.m., but someone answered. Crane and Associates. I need an emergency consultation. My voice was steady now, crystal clear. Today, if possible, let me check her schedule. Keyboard clicking. We actually had a cancellation for 2 p.m. Would that work? I'll be there. I spent the next 4 hours methodically documenting everything. Took screenshots of every folder in Paul's tax documents 2024 collection. Every receipt, every note, every piece of his manufactured evidence. Then I found the real evidence. His credit card charges for the Marriott. The ATM withdrawals. Jennifer Martinez's number appearing 847 times in his phone records over 8 months. Screenshots of her Instagram, including the photo with his hand on her back. I saved everything to a flash drive. Then backed it up to my personal cloud storage. Then emailed copies to myself at an old email address Paul didn't know about. By the time I was done, I had a case file that would make his fake evidence look pathetic. Paul came home at noon for lunch, which he never does. I was in the kitchen, making a sandwich like everything was normal. Hey, he said, studying my face. Looking for signs, I'd found something. Hey, I smiled, kept my voice light. Forgot you were coming home. Want me to make you something? No, I'm good. Just grabbing some leftovers. He was watching me carefully. You feeling okay? You look tired, didn't sleep great, true, but I'm fine. He nodded, still watching. Opened the fridge. I noticed he glanced at the counter where his laptop had been this morning. It was gone now. He must have grabbed it when he came in. Actually, I said casually, I was thinking. We never did our anniversary dinner last month because you were so busy. Maybe we should do something nice this weekend. Tomorrow night? I watched his face change. Saw the flash of satisfaction he tried to hide. This was perfect. I was suggesting the exact dinner he'd already planned, making it seem like my idea. That sounds great, he said slowly. I'll make a reservation somewhere nice. Perfect. I took a bite of my sandwich. I have some errands to run this afternoon, but I'll be back by 5. Take your time, he said. I bet he was dying for me to leave so he could review his plan one more time. Check his fake evidence. Prepare for his big ambush. He had no idea I was about to dismantle everything, Patricia. Crane's office was on the 10th floor of a glass building. Downtown, modern, expensive, exactly what I needed. She was in her 50s, with sharp eyes and a handshake that meant business. Mrs. Garrison. She gestured to a leather chair across from her desk. You said this was urgent. I handed her the flash drive. My husband has been building a fake adultery case against me for 8 months to cover up his own affair. He's planning to ambush me tomorrow night at dinner, record my reaction, and use it to destroy me in court. Her eyebrows went up. That's a serious accusation. I have proof of everything. She plugged in the flash drive. I watched her face as she clicked through the folders. Saw her expression shift from professional skepticism to cold fury. Paul's manufactured evidence against me. His notes accusing me of an affair that never happened. His detailed divorce strategy document, then the real evidence. His credit card charges. Jennifer Martinez's phone number. The photos. Patricia spent 20 minutes going through everything without speaking. Finally, she looked up at me. Your husband is either extremely stupid or extremely arrogant. Both, I said. Good. She leaned back in her chair. That makes my job easier. What do you want? I want to file first, before he can, and I want him to find out at the worst possible moment. She smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. I can absolutely arrange that. We spent the next 2 hours building my case. Patricia explained the strategy. We'd file today for fault-based divorce, citing his adultery. Request immediate temporary restraining orders on all assets, meaning he couldn't freeze me out of anything. And we'd time the service of papers for maximum impact. He's planning to ambush you tomorrow night, Patricia said. Let's return the favor. By 5 p.m., the papers were filed with the court. By 6 p.m., a judge had granted temporary asset protection orders. By 7 p.m., our joint accounts were frozen by court order, not by Paul, by me. And by 8 p.m., a process server had the address of Marcel's restaurant and instructions to serve Paul tomorrow night at exactly 7:30 p.m., right in the middle of his planned confession dinner. Ambush. One more thing, Patricia said as I was leaving. Don't engage with him tonight or tomorrow. Act completely normal. Let him think everything is going according to his plan. I can do that, I said, and I could, because I'd spend 3 months being gaslit into thinking I was paranoid and crazy. I was really good at pretending everything was fine. Friday night, Paul came home with flowers. He hadn't bought me flowers in 5 years. For my beautiful wife, he said, kissing my cheek. I made a reservation at Marcel's for tomorrow. 7 p.m. Marcel's, the French place where he'd proposed 27 years ago. The symbolism was deliberate. He was planning to end our marriage where it began. So sweet, I said, taking the flowers. I'll wear that black dress you like. He smiled. Perfect. I arranged the flowers in a vase, chatting about my day, asking about his work, playing the role of the trusting wife who had no idea her world was about to explode. Inside. I was counting down hours. Saturday dragged by in slow motion. I went to the gym, got my nails done, came home and spent an hour getting ready, doing my makeup carefully, styling my hair, the black dress from Nordstrom that Paul always liked, the same dress I'd worn to our anniversary party last year when Paul got home at 6 p.m. He stopped in the bedroom doorway. You look beautiful, he said. Thank you. I smiled at him. In the mirror, I could see him in the reflection. Nervous, excited, anticipating. His moment of control. He had no idea. We got to Marcel's at 7 o'clock exactly. The hostess seated us at a table by the window. White tablecloth, candles, fresh flowers, romantic. Paul ordered a bottle of wine. I ordered water, not drinking. He asked, "Want to keep a clear head tonight?" I said. "I want to remember everything." Pi looked pleased, like that was exactly what he wanted to hear. We made small talk, ordered dinner. French onion soup, filet mignon, roasted vegetables. The food was probably amazing. I barely tasted it. I could feel him working up to it, choosing his moment. Dessert arrived. Creme brulee. Same thing we'd shared on our first date here 28 years ago. More symbolism. Paul barely touched his. Just kept watching the door. Cues, checking his phone subtly. Waiting for the right moment. At exactly 7:25, he set down his spoon. "Angela," he said, voice serious, "I need to tell you something, okay?" I folded my hands in my lap, kept my expression open and trusting. "I know about the affair." I let confusion cross my face. Genuine confusion because even though I knew this was coming, hearing him actually say it still felt surreal. "What affair?" "Travis Keller." He said the name like he'd been practicing it. "I know you've been seeing him, Travis." I tilted my head. "Diane's business partner." "Paul, I barely know him." "Don't lie to me." His voice was calm, but I could hear the anger underneath. This was his moment. I have evidence. Hotel receipts. Suspicious behavior. I know everything. He reached into his jacket pocket, going for his phone to record, just like his plan said, and pulled out a folder instead, set it on the table between us. 6 hotel visits to the Marriott. Unexplained mileage. Deleted text messages with Travis. "You've been lying to me for months, Angela." I opened the folder slowly, looked at the printed receipts he'd carefully arranged, and then I did something he wasn't expecting. I laughed. Not hysterical laughter. Quiet, genuine amusement. Paul's face flushed red. "This isn't funny. No, you're right." I closed the folder, slid it back across the table. "It's not funny. It's pathetic." "Excuse me?" "These receipts are yours, Paul, not mine." I kept my voice low, calm. "The Marriott charges on these dates are on your credit card. From when you were meeting Jennifer Martinez every Tuesday while I was at Diane's events across town." I watched all the color drain from his face. I don't know what you're... "Jennifer Martinez," I said clearly. "Senior analyst at your company. The woman whose phone number appears 847 times in your records over the past 8 months. The woman you've been withdrawing $200 cash for every week." His mouth opened, closed. No sound came out. "You thought I was too stupid to notice," I said softly. "You've built this entire fake case against me. Manufactured evidence. Twisted my innocent conversations into suspicious behavior. Documented my life like I was a criminal. Angela, you did all of it to hide the fact that you were the one cheating." "I can explain. I found your contingency plan folder, Paul. All of it. The divorce strategy, the timeline, your notes about my unstable reactions, your plan to freeze the accounts and destroy me." He'd gone from red to white to gray. But here's what's actually happening. I kept my voice even. Everything he'd been for 8 months. I filed for divorce Thursday. Fault-based divorce, citing your adultery with Jennifer Martinez. I froze our joint accounts Friday by court order. And in about 3 minutes, a process server is going to walk through that door and hand you the papers. Chu can't do this. I already did. And right on cue, like Patricia had choreographed it perfectly, a man in a suit appeared at our table. Paul Garrison. Paul just stared at him. "You've been served?" "Sir," the server placed a manila envelope on the table next to Paul's untouched creme brulee, nodded professionally, and walked away. The envelope sat there between us like a bomb. Paul's hands were shaking as he reached for it. Opened it, started reading. I watched his face as he saw it all. The adultery filing, Jennifer's name in legal documents, evidence of his hotel visits, his cash withdrawals, his text messages, photos of them together at company events, and my attorney's request for favorable asset division, spousal support, and attorney's fees based on his proven infidelity and attempted fraud. "Angela," his voice cracked. "Please, we can talk about this." It wasn't you planned to record this conversation," I said quietly. "Use my reaction as proof I was unstable. But you forgot one thing." I pulled out my phone, opened the voice recording app that had been running since we sat down. I recorded you instead. His face went completely white. "Enjoy your dessert, Paul." I stood up, grabbed my purse. Oh, and one more thing. I called Jennifer yesterday. Told her about your fake evidence case. Your plan to frame me for adultery while you were actually sleeping with her. Sent her screenshots of your divorce strategy document. That part was true. I had sent Jennifer a message through Instagram. She'd seen it. Hadn't responded, but she'd seen it. She didn't know you were married, I said. Apparently you told her you were divorced 2 years ago. She's not happy. Paul opened his mouth. Nothing came out. You wanted to watch me break down, cry, beg. You wanted to see me realize you'd outsmarted me. I leaned down close enough that only he could hear me. But you're not smart. Paul, you're just cruel. And cruel men always make stupid mistakes. Like leaving their laptop open because they were too arrogant to think their wife would ever catch them. I straightened up, slung my purse over my shoulder. My lawyer will be in touch about the settlement. Do not contact me. Do not come to the house. If you try, you'll be violating the restraining order that's being filed Monday morning. I walked out of Marcel's with my head high, leaving my husband of 26 years sitting alone with divorce papers and a dessert he'd never eat. Behind me, I heard him call my name. I didn't turn around. That was 3 weeks ago. I'm sitting in Patricia Crane's office right now, going over the final settlement terms. Paul's lawyer tried to fight everything, claimed I'd illegally accessed his computer, that the evidence was inadmissible, that I was violating his privacy. Patricia destroyed those arguments in about 15 minutes. Marital property, she'd explained calmly to the judge. Mrs. Garrison had every right to access a shared laptop in her own home. And besides, Mr. Garrison had been illegally recording her via security cameras without her knowledge or consent for 8 months. He has no grounds to claim privacy violations. That changed the conversation real fast. Then Patricia presented Paul's divorce strategy document to the court. His detailed plan to manufacture evidence, freeze accounts, cause maximum psychological impact. The judge was not amused. Final settlement, I got the house. 65% of our retirement accounts. Full spousal support for 5 years while I figure out what I want to do with my life. Paul got to keep his job barely. Turns out, Jennifer filed a complaint with HR when she found out he'd been lying about being married. He was demoted, relocated to a different department, and is apparently now under review for ethics violations. I haven't seen him since that night at Marcel's. He sent emails, asked if we could talk, said he never meant for things to end this way. I deleted every single one without responding. Because here's what I learned. Some men will do anything to avoid being the villain in their own story. They'll lie, manipulate, manufacture evidence, and gaslight you into questioning your own reality. And they'll keep doing it right up until the moment you stop believing their version of events and start trusting your own dot. My gut knew something was wrong. 3 months ago, I just needed to stop letting everyone, including myself, talk me out of what I knew to be true. Last week, Diane called me. Have a proposition, she said. How would you feel about becoming a partner in the consulting firm? Real partnership, equity, everything. I met her for coffee at Starbucks the next day. Why me? I asked. She grinned. Because you have excellent instincts for seeing through people's bullshit. And you're calm under pressure. Those are the exact skills we need. I start Monday. New job. New life. New version of myself that trusts her own gut over anyone. Elsa's reassurances. I'm not going to lie and say I'm perfectly fine. 26 years of marriage doesn't end without scars. There are mornings I wake up and forget Paul's not there. Moments where I reach for my phone to text him something funny before I remember. But you know what? I don't have any more. That feeling in my gut. That 3 a.m. panic. That constant second guessing of my own reality. I know exactly what happened. I know exactly who I was married to. A man who would rather destroy me than face his own choices. And I know exactly what I'm worth. Paul sent one. More email yesterday. This one was different. Sorry. You deserved better. I was a coward who blamed you for my own failures. You were right about everything. I read it twice, then I deleted it, because an apology doesn't undo 8 months of psychological warfare. It doesn't erase the fake evidence, the manufactured case, the plan to record my breakdown and use it. Against me in court, some things can't be forgiven, just because someone finally admits they were wrong. So here's my advice. To anyone listening who's ever been told they're paranoid, overreacting to emotional or crazy, listen to your body, that feeling in your stomach, that panic at 3 a.m., that little voice saying something's wrong, it's not. Paranoia? It's pattern recognition. Your brain is processing 1,000 tiny details your conscious mind hasn't connected yet. Trust it, and you're not crazy. You're just married to someone who needs you to think you are. My name is Angela. I'm 48 years old, and I just got my life back from a man who thought I was too stupid to notice he was stealing it. If this story helped you, subscribe to Broken Vows for more. Stories about women who trusted their gut and came out stronger on the other side. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all, it's refusing to play the role someone else wrote for you, and trusting yourself more than you trust their version of you.